In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use Asana goals to track your company objectives and KPIs, helping you create more alignment across your team. We're going to break down what goals look like in Asana, how to structure them using the OKR framework, and how to track real progress towards them. Just a reminder, goals are available for advanced, enterprise, and enterprise plus users in Asana. Let's get into Asana and see what this looks like. So I'm logged into Asana. I'm currently in the home view. Let's go into the goals section. So I'm going to scroll down and under insights, I see goals. When you're in the goals section, there's going to be 4 tabs up top. The first tab is a strategy map. This just gives you a visual view of your goals. So if you're looking at your company goals or your specific departments, this is just going to show you those goals for you to easily click on them and look at the information. If I go to the company goals tab, this is where the goals for the company would live. So any goals that are high level, company specific would go here. So think strategic priorities or annual targets. That's usually what would be tracked over here. These are really intended for leadership to create and manage. Then we have our team goals. These goals should be owned by departments like the marketing team, operations, or sales. These should be goals that support your company goals. So if you have high level goals of expanding market reach in Q4, our team goals should be goals that support that company goal. And then my goals. This is where you're going to see all of the goals, whether they're company goals or team goals that are assigned to you, they will show up here. Any personal or role based goals that get created right here will also show up here. So they don't have to be team or company goals. They can be personal specific goals as well. Now let's break down the structure of a goal in Asana using the OKR framework. Let's go ahead and together create a team goal. So over here, I'm going to go ahead and create goal. And we're just going to use a blank goal. In Asana, you can actually create a hierarchy of your goals. So you can have goals and sub goals. So we are going to actually create an OKR framework with the capabilities that Asana allows for. So let's go ahead and create our objective. Objective is really supposed to be your big picture goal, your aim. It's qualitative and directional. So let's go ahead and create some goals for our HR team. Our objective is going to be streamline and scale the hiring process. And I'm going to go ahead and assign this to our human resources team. All right. The goal owner is the individual that is responsible for the goal. The members are individuals that are going to be viewing the goal or commenting or, if they have some sort of involvement with the goal. Please note that the members that you add will get notifications when there's changes on the goal. I've noticed that some teams find that a little bit annoying. So if you want, you can always remove this if you don't want anybody getting notifications. If you do want people to have involvement and engagement in the goal, you can select a team or you can select an individual. You can select whether you want them to have edit permissions or just comment permissions. All right. So I'm going to set this for HR to be able to comment on here. And then over here, the time period, this is where we're able to set what time period this goal, the specific objective is intended for. So is this a goal for the year of 2025? Is it for the goal of the first half or the second half or a specific quarter? So we can specify that. So let me go ahead and set this for the second half of 2025. And then here we have the privacy. Do we want this to be visible to the entire company, or should it only be visible to the owner and the members of the specific goal? We're going to go ahead and keep this public. Perfect. Now that we've created our objective, let's go ahead and create our key results. So we are going to have sub goals under here that track the key results that need to get completed. All right. So I have 3 key results I want to create for this. I want to, in order to streamline and scale our hiring process, I want to hire 3 new full-time employees across our key departments. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new goal. All right. And I'm going to keep this all the same. I like to have some sort of naming convention. I want this to be KR1, indicating that this is our first key result. All right. So if I go to objective, if I come back over here, I'll see that the progress of this is automatic. If I click on progress settings, what this means is the source of the progress for our objective is based off of our sub goals. So as our sub goals get updated, our objective, our parent goal is automatically going to get updated based off of that. And I'll show you what that looks like. Now I have my key result 1, hire 3 new full-time employees. Now for the progress settings here, I'm able to change the progress source. I can either create sub goals under this key result for tasks that I need to complete this key result. I can make this manual. So I can say, hey, I just need this to be a percentage that I update every week from 0 to 100%. Or I can associate this with tasks. Now, this is very task specific. I need to hire 3 new employees. These are tasks I already have created in my HR board. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this to our tasks and I'm going to hit save. All right. Now that I have my progress source set to tasks, I'm going to go ahead and connect a task. I have in here 3 tasks. I already created these, as I said, in my new hires management board. So I'm going to go ahead and link these. So I want to hire a solutions engineer, a customer support specialist, and a customer success rep. All right. Now that I have these 3 tasks connected, my progress is going to be based off of these tasks. So let me go ahead and jump into my new hire board so you get a better understanding of this. So I'm going to go back into my navigation on the left hand. I have my projects here and I have this new hires management. This is where I actually created my tasks. So what's nice about this is I have my key result to hire 3 new full-time employees. As my team members update these, if the solutions engineer for the sales department, for example, was hired, we can mark this as complete. Once that's marked as complete, we'll see that our key result 1 for hiring 3 new full-time employees is now at a 33% goal completion. Why is that? Because 1 out of our 3 tasks in our Asana board got completed. So if I come into goals, I now say I have my objective, I have my key result, and that's at 33% because of the tasks that are associated with that key result 1. Because I only have 1 key result, my objective is also at 33% because it's automatically being updated based off of the sub goals. Let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit more. So we have our first key result to hire the 3 new full-time employees. That's task specific. Now I'm going to go ahead and add another sub goal. I have more than 1 key result for this objective. So key result 2, it takes our hiring team an average of 35 days to hire individuals. So we want to try to reduce that to 25 days. So I went ahead, I created my key result. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And now we have it over here. We have our goal owner, we have our accountable team, and our time period. Let's go ahead and adjust our progress. So I'm going to go ahead and go into progress settings. And this one is going to be manual. So this isn't going to be automatically getting updated based off of sub goals or tasks like we've used. This is going to be manual. And this is going to be a number. So currently our current value is 35. Our starting value is 35 and our target value is 25. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. All right. So we're currently at 35 days for the hire and we're trying to get to 25 days. That's what we're trying to indicate here. So that's our second key result. You'll see that now my objectives progress has gone to 17% because I now have 2 key results. One of them's at 33%, the other's 2. So if you do the average with the 2, we get to 17%. Let's go ahead and create our final key result. So my third key result is conducting structured interviews for 100% of open new roles. Gonna hit save goal. And same thing here. We are going to update the progress settings. This goal is not going to be automatically updated based off of sub goals because we don't have any sub goals. So that's why we have to always make these adjustments here. So I'm going to change this. This is also going to be manual and this is going to be percentage based. We're at 0 and we want to get to 100. Looking at the status reminders down here, if you have a specific cadence for how frequently you want your team updating goals, this is a nice way to give accountability to your team. So if you have different owners for objectives and different owners for key results, I would recommend setting status reminders for both of those levels in your hierarchy. So if you're doing this on a weekly basis, you can say reminders should be sent out every Friday. So you can go ahead and set that reminder cadence for the goal owner to update their specific goals. Same thing here. If I come back into progress settings here, this is where we have our cadence and I can set this to weekly. All right. So you can make those adjustments across your objectives and your key results. Perfect. Now we have created our objective. We have our 3 key results. We can adjust this too. We can move this up here, move this down here. All right. And then our key results are weighted equally for our objective. But if for any reason some key results have a larger weight than others, you can always adjust this and you can set your custom weight. So if this is actually 50% of this objective and this is 25 and this is 25, you can always make that adjustment. I'm going to go ahead and set the default settings of the equal weight. If I go back into goals, I just created my first goal for the HR team. We have our objective and our 3 key results for our objective. So when you create your goals, you should always think top down. You're starting with your high level, and then you're setting your specific metrics that you need to target to achieve that objective. The next thing I want to talk about is how to update your goals. If you have a cadence with your team to update your goal every week, maybe every Friday, you want to make sure that you're updating bottom up. When it comes to updating, you want to make sure that you first update all of your sub goals, which are your key results, before you update your objective. Now, I'll show you why. Right now, our hire 3 new full-time employees, this is actually, you can see over here because this zap indicates that the goal is automatically updating progress. The reason for that is because this is connected to 3 tasks in your Asana board. So if we still want to update the status of this, we can set the status, but we don't have to change the percentage because that's actually coming in automatically. What the owner of the sub goal can do is they can set this to indicate that this is on track. So we are 33%, we can set this to on track, and we can add a summary here to indicate what the current status is. A new function in Asana is you can draft your updates using AI. So if I use draft with AI, I can add some guidance. So the more information you give it, obviously, the more AI will give you, but let's just start with that. We can hit draft update and then it will write a status update for you. You should always use AI to just do drafts. Please make sure that you actually go through it and add anything that it might have missed or make any adjustments. So this is going to give you your progress summary. It's saying we're making steady progress on our hiring goals. As of today, we've successfully filled one of the 3. So this all looks good. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. All right. And then here, like I said, go ahead and make your adjustments. If you need to update the accomplishments, the risk and blockers, go ahead and make those updates. Once you're done, you're going to go ahead and hit post. All right. My key result has now been updated. That is how you update your goals. Now, the reason I said bottom up is because you want to make sure that before you have the status for your objective, that all of your key results have a specific status so that we have the right information to go off of. So now this is at 33%. Let's go ahead and update our reduce average time. Let's set the status. We have the options for open statuses for it to be on track, at risk, off track. Let's set this one to on track as well. All right. And then our progress. Our starting was 35, our ending is 25. Where are we at? So let's do 33. All right, that's 20%. So we're doing good. Because we put in the number of the days that we're at currently, that is going to give us a percentage with our progress. We can add our summary. If we don't really have too much to say here, we can always just post without a summary with just the update to the current value. If I go back into goals, you'll see now that our KR1, KR2 statuses are updated. The percentages are accumulating up to our objective. Our objective percentage is now at 18%. Let's update our last and final key result. Let's go ahead and set the status. This one is at risk, and then we want to indicate why it's at risk, right? Say, for example, we're still at 0%, which is fine. It happens sometimes. We'll do better next week. Now that I've updated the status for my 3 key results, I have my percentages of progress for my key results, and I can see that that is accumulated up to my objective. So once I am done updating my key results, I'm going to go ahead and update the status for my objective. Now I can see that the progress is now showing me accurately. If I updated my status for my objective before my key results, I would not have an accurate percentage to show on my objective. And that's why I always say bottom up is ideal for updating your statuses if you're working in the OKR framework. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, set the status on track. I can give it a summary here as well. Like I said before, you can draft with AI, you can add your information, what's been accomplished, how it's progressing, what's blocked. We can put all that information. We don't have to update the progress because this is automatically coming from our sub goals. Let's go ahead and hit post. There we go. Now all of our goals in HR are up to date. And that's how you create goals in Asana. I hope this helps you bring clarity, structure, and accountability to your company using the OKR framework. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you want help setting up goals for your specific use case, feel free to add a comment below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.